you sort of envision our season as 2 seasons, when we were healthy and when we weren't. So your initial memory of this, when you think about it, and I know when fans talk to me about it, like, well, you were number one in the West on New Year's Eve, and the things that you talk about that team, where we were second in the league in net rating, and we were tied with Denver for the best record in the West, and we're sixth in clutch rating, and we're sixth in offense and sixth in defense. Well, at that point, Brandon had already missed 20 games, and Z had already missed 8 games. You know, it's not just that those guys missed games. It's that we had so many players out for so long. We had 8 different guys miss 15 games. 6 of the guys we closed games with missed 15 plus games. So it was one of those things from a coaching perspective that they never had their footing underneath them at all. And so I feel really badly that when you look back on the season, the whole season was upheaval. The whole season was chaotic from that standpoint. And at the same time, I would tell you, to win 42 games and to have 13 different players score 20 points in games you win, and 6 different players can score 35 points in games you win, and 4 guys score 40 in games you win, we've got an awful lot of talent. So the core and the nucleus of what we have here is very, very good. We haven't seen it play enough minutes together to be able to say, yes, this is a championship caliber roster.
So we want to look at the New Orleans Pelicans. Yes, before I get into it, do like, share, comment, subscribe. But also, I want to say again, I'm doing a few videos dealing with the play-in teams that got played out of the play-in. This one's going to be about the New Orleans Pelicans. And it's just a quick assessment. It's not really based on any research or anything. Just based on like what I can remember seeing in their play-in games and in the games leading up to the play-in, especially with the New Orleans Pelicans, because I didn't get to see a lot of their season games, and really they weren't on my radar until the play-in was about to approach, and I watched them a little bit closely. And I must say, I was really impressed. I was impressed to see how good they are even without Zion Williamson. There's even games where they played without Zion or Brandon Ingram, and other guys would step it up. They got some really good role players, some nice young pieces. They got some nice defensive pieces. So they got a little bit of everything, and I think they're moving in the right direction. Their obvious situation is with Zion Williamson. I mean, everything can't be perfect. There's always going to be an issue, and in my opinion, they're heading in the right direction. But one of the biggest situations is if they can get a healthy Zion for a full season. It's gotten to the point where you have people saying trade Zion Williamson, which is pretty crazy because he's such a rare talent in the league. But it just shows that, the frustrations people are having with his injuries and the fact that they don't have faith in him being able to play a full season without getting injured. I get it, and I can't really call whether or not he'll get over the hump of these ailments, these injuries he's dealing with. That's just a waiting thing. And I think that the Pelicans are going to invest that time in him, because the worst thing you want to do is let him go and watch him turn into one of the best players in the league for another team. So they're not going to do that. They're going to try and wait it out, do as much as they can to support him. And I totally understand why they would do that. But they do, another thing is we've seen what Brandon Ingram can do. He played really well in the games leading up to the play-in and in the play-in. And that's another reason why I say they're in a good spot, because as long as you get Zion Williamson back, Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson together, I think would be a very dangerous duo in the league. With them two and all the other role players, I see them as a top 5 team in the West. CJ McCollum's pretty good. My thing is, I don't see CJ McCollum as a point guard. He's definitely a 2, in my opinion. So I think one of their missions should be to pick up a true point, whether it's in the off season or in the draft. Also, I think they need a pure shooter, whether they get that in the off season or in the draft. Jonas Valanciunas, I think he's gotten to his ceiling. I think pretty much what he's given is what you're gonna get, and he's a decent player. He'll give you about 14 points and 10 rebounds a game. Pretty good at the free throw line. My thing is, I think he could be a little bit better on the defense and a little bit more consistent. I don't know if he could get any better, because he's been around for quite some time, and this has been an issue that even we had in Toronto with his defense and his consistency on that side. So that's something the Pelicans want to do, is make sure they have a big who can play defense. They can sacrifice a few rebounds and some free throw shooting to get defense in the interior. I think that's very important, because they have everything else. So just you want to make sure you could defend the paint. That's important. So what else? Like I said, I like their young pieces. Dyson Daniels, Trey Murphy, really nice. Dyson Daniels obviously still has some growing to do. Herb Jones, I think he's a free agent. I do think that they should be getting him back. He brings a lot of defense. So like I said, I think they're going in the right direction. But what I expect to see them do, whether through free agency or through the draft, is to pick up a true point guard and get themselves a shooter, like a pure 3-point shooter, and a defensive big, right? And I think once they do that, they pretty much solidify themselves as a contending team. And so that's all I could say right now for now with the Pelicans. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.